Pokemon Pocket is a really well balanced game, and I'm being legit. I think every change, every card that's been added, every set has added something really unique to the game, and the game has only keep growing and going on an upward trajectory. So really shout out to Dina, shout out to the people working on this game. It's a game that I love to make content about. And of course, every game is gonna have hundreds of cards per set, right? Some less, some more. There are gonna be a few misses. There are gonna be a few cards that are a little bit too strong. So today I'm here with 5 cards. 3 that I would buff, 2 that I would nerf. Also, like maybe a Dina employee is watching and they are like, wow, this Jeudy guy, he has such good opinions on game balance. Like maybe we should consult him or something. And if that happens, I mean, my DMs are always open. You can find me on Twitter. You can find my email, yada yada. Just let me know. Let's get into this. The first card I have for you guys today is Dragonite. Dragonite for 4 energy, 1 water, 1 lightning, 2 colorless. That's Draco Meteor. One of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen at random 4 times. For each time a Pokemon was chosen, do 50 damage to it. So how am I changing this card? Does this card need to be buffed? Does this card need to be nerfed? Like, what would you do? Lower its retreat cost, lower its energy cost, increase its damage? I think that Dragonite is an amazing tech demo card. Dragonite presents something that you cannot do in the physical card game, which is random damage. It reminds me of a game like Hearthstone, right? I think it's really cool that you are able to do random damage, and this card feels like a tech demo. And as a tech demo, this card is perfectly balanced. Except for one thing. What might I change about this? I think that I would not change its HP, I would not change its retreat, I would not change its energy, would not change its damage, but I would want to include smart targeting. And that isn't changing it from random to you choosing, but I think I would want to fix this card's problem. And obviously, look, how many of you guys, and if you guys make it to this part of the video and you guys agree with this, specifically this part, be like, yeah, this has happened to me. How many of you guys have played Dragonite? You guys have clicked Draco Meteor, and all of a sudden, all 4 Draco Meteors go into like a 50 HP Pokemon. I think that while it's cool that it is random, I think adding some degree to smart targeting would be cool. In the way that I would do it would be no overfill, no overkill. I would want Draco Meteor, if it KOs a Pokemon, to not put more damage into it. If you KO a 60 HP Pokemon, it will only be taking 100, and then the 2 other Draco Meteors can target a different Pokemon. I think that would be extremely cool for the game. It'll be less frustrating as a Dragonite player. So many players always want Dragonite to work. And this would actually extend to other random targeting cards. These cards being Wugtrio and Rayquaza. And while these cards aren't going to be broken, they're not going to be the best cards in the game after a change like this, I do think that they would be less frustrating, a little bit more fun to play, as you are still trying to choose these targets at random. It keeps the heart of the card without the goofiness of dealing 150 damage to like a 10 HP Pokemon. Like, come on. Come on! The second card I want to talk about is Gengar EX, a 170 HP Psychic Pokemon with the ability Shadowy Spellbind. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent can't use any supporter cards from their hand. A really strong ability, paired with a 3 Psychic Energy attack Spooky Shot that deals 100. With the introduction of Rare Candy, Gengar EX is now better than it ever has been, which isn't saying a lot because it wasn't that good in the first place. The ability marred by the fact that it is a 3 Psychic Energy attachment Pokemon, so by the time you get it active, by the time you're able to attack, it is way too slow. It can't really efficiently stun lock when it's taking so much damage before it can even do a very paltry 100 damage. So how would I change this Pokemon? I think the ability is great, the HP number is good, the retreat cost is all fine. I would actually change Spooky Shot to a 2 Psychic Energy, deal 80, deal 70, one of those. You guys can tell me in the comment section below which one you would prefer. I'm in favor of 80. I think 80 is a perfect number for a stage 2. Just let me know. But I do think that the problem with this card is that while its ability is good, its attack does not justify using it, especially as a stage 2 that you have to rare candy into. And if you don't rare candy into it, you're getting it a little too late. By the time you get it, your opponent has used every supporter under the sun. They've Professor Research 10 million times, they've Mars'd you, they've had enough time to Guzma you, right? So I think that lowering this card's damage and lowering this card's energy cost would make it able to attack and make it a lot more functioning, even playable in these Lele Oricorio Gengar decks that don't use this Gengar because this Gengar is not worth it. It's too many energy. Other cards I can see fit this, and I'll like kind of do an honorable mention, is Venusaur, right? I think Venusaur would be a much better card if its 4 energy attack became a 3 energy attack, maybe less damage, less healing, but like right now it's just unplayable. So when I was originally writing the script about a month ago, I actually had trouble figuring out what cards I would nerf, because this game is really well designed. Like I said, shout out to Dina earlier in the video. Of course, there is going to be one card that we're going to talk about. You know, she's the girl of the hour, but let's not get there because I have a lot of suggestions for her. Let's talk about a card that I think has become a product of a rare candy metagame. That is Red Card. Red Card, your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and draws 3 cards. I think this card is necessary because of how strong rare candy is, right? As soon as your opponent has 4 cards in their hand, you are already thinking, do they have the rare candy? Yes, I'm going to use it. I think that is a fine application of this card. So how would I nerf it? And of course, how would I nerf this card? And by extension, Mars. It's simply adding right under that your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck. Add the stipulation that this card cannot be played during the first turn of the game. That's it. You might ask yourself, what does this change? Why do this? I think a very toxic byproduct, and again, if this has happened to you, comment below, be like, wow, this has happened to me. How many times are you playing, you're going second, you're playing against a Charizard deck, you're playing against a Meowscarada deck, and all of a sudden, you know, you play one basic to start the game, you have 4 cards in your hand, you haven't even moved, you haven't even issued an order yet, and your opponent red cards you as a retaliatory order. Your opponent red cards you, and it's kind of like in a way to thin their hand, and it's just toxic, right? They red card you, you start the game with 3 cards, and you haven't even moved yet. I think that we need that to be removed. It is unfun. It is part of what made me enjoy this meta less, and it's going to continue being a part of this meta for as long as rare candy is this damn good. So I think the stipulation that the person going first, the person that has evolution priority, should not be able to use Red Card on their first turn. This goes for Mars as well. And I think it's crazy, right? Because this is a card that I bet before rare candy was fine. But I think as a result of the rare candy metagame, as a result of people running multiple Mars and multiple red cards, this has become an extremely unfun card to play with, or to play against, or play, not just to play against, but like getting hit by it before you can even do anything. So just removing that, please, Dina, just do that. That's all I'm asking for. I'm tired of going second and having my hand ripped away because I didn't have another basic to play. Okay, I got some negativity out of my body. Let's talk about a card that I would like to buff again. Here we have Blue and Adamant, both reading, during your opponent's next turn, all your Pokemon take minus 10 damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. Adamant obviously says during your opponent's next turn, all your Pokemon take minus 20, Metal Pokemon, from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. This might be my most drastic buff, so I obviously saved it to last. I think that the issue when Blue came out, Blue was actually viable, it was niche viable, it had a role, you know, it was good in Mewtwo decks, it was good in decks that had multiples of 50, right, so that you didn't get Celebi knocked out. Really cool. But then I think Adamant shows the problem, right? Remember, Blue came out Mythical Islands, Adamant came out Triumphant Light, By the time Adamant came out, the minus 20 damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon was just not good. And the reason is because attacks, damage doesn't just come from your opponent's Pokemon. So the change that I would make to these cards, and again, this might be a little bit too much, and we can figure out how to tone it down. If you think it is too much, tell me how you can tone it down. During your opponent's next turn, all of your Pokemon take minus 10 damage from all sources. Yes. Think about all the cards that have come out since Mythical Islands. I'm talking about Darkrai, right? I'm talking about Rocky Helmet. All of these things that, Blue does not take into account. I'm talking Crobat, right? Lots of cards that I feel show why Adamant is so unusable, because it doesn't do enough. And I think that Pocket's defensive options suck in comparison to the offensive options. So I'm okay with such a drastic buff. Think of it like this. You're using something like Solgaleo, right? Solgaleo has the minus 10 when it attacks. Using a card like Adamant would remove that, would also remove the Rocky Helmet damage, remove the Darkrai ping, and yes, that is a very drastic case, but for a card that's getting zero use, and I don't think it's possible that we'll ever see Adamant get real use, when we literally got a good metal card, two good metal cards, Dialga, we've gotten freaking Solgaleo, and the card is still unusable. So I would love to see a change like this, especially for Blue, which is the more universal one, would be cool. Think of it like this. Darkrai Giratina deals 150 damage. If you were to block all damage from all sources, that 20 ping would become a 10 ping, that 130 damage would be a 120, and all of a sudden it's dealing 140, which is so much more manageable, and something that I just wish that we got. Especially when we look at a card like Red that's so damn strong, Giovanni that's also just really good. The defensive options pale. These cards are also needed to be used anticipatory or in anticipation of an attack. So I think that it's really cool to have something like Blue or Adamant block damage from all sources, because it's just, they're not good cards. And I think that they should be good cards. I think the game needs more defensive options. So this is my most drastic buff. And finally, the card that you've all been waiting for. I know that you have been waiting for it. It's a buff and nerf video. It's Misty. Choose one of your water Pokemon and flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads, take a water energy from your energy zone and attach it to that Pokemon. I'm just going to be honest. It's the most broken, most toxic card in the game. I, even in my supporter tier list, rated this over Professor's Research. You are literally, as a developer, you cannot make good water Pokemon because of Misty, right? We look at the last expansion. There was not a single good water Pokemon. They intentionally designed the set like that because of Gyarados' Reign of Terror and just how broken Misty is. And they're being very gentle about how they make water Pokemon in the future. And it's because of this card. This card is stupid. It's toxic. It's unlike any other energy accelerator, is a general one, right? Brock is a good card, but the card that it supports sucks. Kiawe is a good card, but it's very, very limited in use, right? And so we have this card that just works for every single water type Pokemon and also can go infinite. It's a little bit goofy and a little bit too much, and why the water type will, I think, forever just not be one that can't be good. Because if it's ever good, if we ever get a tier 1 water deck, Misty's going to be used. And the way that we're complaining about Darktina, we're going to complain about Misty. Genuinely, that card is busted. And honestly, I'm at a loss of how to balance this. So instead, I've presented a few ways. I think the first way is to keep that effect, keep the coin flip, but give it the Kiawe stipulation, give it the Giratina stipulation. If any of these coins flip heads, your turn ends. That's it. You're using Misty, that means you are okay with your turn ending. So that is, I think, one of the better ways to do it. Of course, it is still really strong. This doesn't stop someone from rolling 5 heads and then just winning the game next turn, but this does stop a middle of the game Misty from just flipping the game, right? At least that's what this would be. It does not nerf early Misty. The next one, and I think that this is kind of like an okay nerf, but like it still keeps it. It's just limiting it, right? When we just talked about these cards like Kiawe, the cards like Luzamine that's coming. It is very clear that they are keeping it at like 2 energy attachments is strong. So what if we just limit the amount of coins you flip, right? Flip 2 coins for each heads, right? Add a water energy from your energy zone and attach it to that same water energy Pokemon. That can be cool, right? I think that can be usable. Like, I think it's still broken, right? But like, I think this card is stupid and toxic. And finally, the change that I feel like I would personally want, and I think that this card is still stupid, but I think it's less stupid, is just same effect, flip a coin, if heads, attach a water energy to Pokemon. That's it. I think that is how I would change it. Maybe add a stipulation that if this is the first turn of the game, you can't attack, right? If that is all that's added, that would be my ideal Misty. I think that the Misty right now is a relic and it will hold the game back for as long as it's in, because it makes it so that you can't make a really good water Pokemon, because if it's really good and then it has like a high energy cost attack, Misty will always be there to break the game. And Misty, just like a turn 1 red card, a turn 1 Misty that goes off is unfun. It's not interactive and would be the card that I most want nerfed. With all this said, you might notice that I didn't include Team Rocket Grunt, and in the similar vein of how I talked about Adamant and how I talked about Blue, I think that Team Rocket Grunt is not a healthy card. However, I think that defensive cards suck. And while defensive cards suck, I would like a defensive card that is disruptive. So I think that Team Rocket Grunt is actually a card that, at least for now, I'd like to keep. Obviously, we're getting Guzzlord coming soon, and if Guzzlord plus Team Rocket Grunt proves to be too oppressive, then maybe this is a conversation that we can have, that we need, to make a change, or make a change to that card as well. And maybe that can be for a part 2. So this is I gave you guys 5 different cards that I would buff or nerf. One card I even gave you multiple ways to buff or nerf it. What are cards that you guys would buff or nerf? Like I said, Venusaur was actually a suggestion from a viewer. I know there are cards that are just like so bad, like Delmise, that needs help. And there's a lot of very specific supporters, so like, please, any ideas you guys have, leave it in the comment section below. I read them all, and I love engaging with conversation. If this is the type of video you also liked, if this is content that you just like me yapping, please just leave a like, a subscribe. It makes a massive difference. And I'm at 15,000 subscribers. This is insane. So if you guys have made it to this part and you are one of those 15,000 subscribers, you guys have changed my life. Thank you so much. And then until the next video, I'll keep making Pokemon Pocket content like my life is on the damn line, because it is.